all right, Mangalam, thanks very much for that. So that's the update coming in from the entire FNO setup today. Sacchitanand Uttekar of Tradebulls joins in to discuss the technicals on the show now. Sacchitanand, hi, welcome to the show. Well, what Mangalam was pointing out is that the advance decline ratio today is negative despite some amount of resilience in the mid caps. How would you approach trade in such a setup?
Good afternoon, Ekta, and good afternoon, Mangalam. As we clearly described, the range is quite clear that 22,200 on the higher side looks like a difficult, level to negotiate. Whereas on the lower side, there is a good durable support somewhere close to around 21,930. So I think until unless Nifty remains in this particular range, we may not see any major directional change. On the contrary, in fact, if you look at some of the technical indicators, both the indices, Nifty and the Nifty Bank, have been trending below their 5-week exponential moving averages. So I think these particular levels would be critical for the week. When it comes to Nifty, the level is placed somewhere close to around 22,110. So until unless we don't see a decisive breakout above this particular range level, we may not see, a good amount of confidence in the bullish rally. So probably we may see, Nifty facing some kind of a resistance whenever it moves towards that particular level. When we look at Nifty Bank, the corresponding level is placed somewhere close to around 46,830. So unless we don't see a decisive closing above that, probably even here Nifty Bank may continue to display some pressure. So I think both the indices may remain locked within this particular range. At least for today's session, we don't see any major change. But going forward, I think these levels will be critical. But until unless the breakouts are not displayed, I think it's a good classic salon rise kind of a setup, wherein one needs to be very cautious while picking up any particular trade on the long side. So that's why I think better to keep a long short ratio and trade the market accordingly.
All right, keep a long short ratio. What would the long short ratio be according to you? And individual stocks, what would you do?
Well, Mangalam, I think Bajaj Finserv has displayed a good, strong, comeback. We have seen a good floor at around 1570, 1580 kind of a mark, and today's, action is displaying a short covering kind of a setup. If you look at the price action for the last 3 weeks, we saw kind of a symmetrical triangle, and that particular triangle has been breached. So probably, this particular stock may display or continue to display outperformance. If you look at technically, this particular rally may conclude towards 1670, and that's why we are recommending, building long positions here, keeping a stop loss somewhere close to around 1610 on a closing basis. And on the short side, I think Bharti Airtel has been in a very strong bull run, but for the last couple of trading sessions, we have seen a fair amount of supply pressure at around 1240, 1230 kind of a zone. If you look at the daily RSI again here, there are signs of a divergence here. So probably, we may see some slippages in this particular counter. We may see this stock, slipping towards its 20-day exponential moving average support, which is placed somewhere close to around 1195. So with that target in mind, we have recommended, shorting this particular counter to our clients. From a future perspective, one can keep a stop loss somewhere close to around 1236. And review their positions once the stock starts trending towards that 1200, 1195 kind of a zone.
Okay, all right, Sacchitanand, we're going to leave it on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and giving us those strategies. Just want to point out that a couple of these stocks, such as say a Brigade